Hey, welcome to the podcast. This is the Surge Effect on this podcast. Well, it'll probably have an effect on you. Well, hello and welcome to another episode of the Surge Effect. In today's episode, we are going to be talking a little bit about Kash Patel and Biden pardoning his son Hunter, because after all, that is what a father would do. Any father would do that for his son. Anyway, so before we get started, I'd like to mention two of my sponsors. First sponsor is Love My Legs Owen Sound Grey Bruce. Click on their link below, head on over to their Facebook page, and check out all the leggings that they have to offer. All different kinds of colors, all different kinds of patterns. Go check them out today. Second sponsor is Heshirtssheshirts. Head on over to their webpage as well, and they are more than just another t-shirt company. They're Heshirtssheshirts Plus. They now offer laser products as well, so you go check them out. I believe their website is under maintenance right now, but it will be up and running very soon. Go check them out. I also like to mention a couple items that I usually use myself and from Amazon. Number one is BCAAs, branch chain amino acids. If you don't know what branch chain amino acids are all about, do yourself a favor. Go check them out. Good for hydration, good for your body, and I use them all the time, and they're fantastic. Anyway, click on the link below. Go get yours today. Number two is my RODECaster 2 Pro is what I use for my podcasting and all my soundboards. It's phenomenal. Click on the link below. If you're into blogging, want to get into YouTubing, stuff like that, I have a video on YouTubing. Go check them out. They are fantastic. All right, so without further ado, let's get into today's podcast, and let's get at her. So, podcast today, of course, like I said, is on Kash Patel. No one knows who Kash Patel is. There is Kash Patel right there. Kash Patel, there's a lot to him, and there's a lot of Democrats that don't like Kash Patel for all kinds of different reasons. But Kash Patel, who is he? He is born February 25th, 1980. His name is Kashyap, so that's what Kash is, of course, his nickname, Patel. He's an American lawyer and a former federal prosecutor for the United States Department of Justice. Previously, he was the Chief of Staff of the United States Secretary of Defense during the first Trump presidency. He has served as a United States National Security Council official and a senior advisor to the acting director of national intelligence. In November of 2024, President-elect Donald Trump named Patel as his nominee for director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Member of the Republican Party, Patel worked as a senior aide to Congressman Devin Nunes during the latter's tenure as a chair of the House Intelligence Committee. While working with Nunes, Patel played a key role in helping Republicans in the investigation into Trump and Russia interference in 2016 election. 2018, Patel was instrumental in drafting up the Nunes memo, which alleged errors in the FBI application for a surveillance warrant for Trump's 2016 campaign role. Of course, that's when they spied on Donald Trump. And Kash Patel was instrumental in getting the Russia hoax basically debunked and thrown out there that it was all basically bullshit. 4 years of that from mainstream media. 4 years. So here's Trump dropped this the other day. He dropped it the other day in Twitter. He says, "I'm proud to announce that Kash Patel will serve as the new director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and Kash is a brilliant lawyer, investigator, and American first fighter who has spent his career exposing corruption and defending justice and protecting the American people. He played a pivotal role in uncovering the Russia hoax, standing as an advocate of truth, accountability, and the Constitution. Kash did an incredible job during my first term, where he served as Chief of Staff at the Department of Defense, the Deputy Director of National Intelligence, and a Senior Director for Counterterrorism at the National Security Council. Kash has also tried over 60 jury trials, and this FBI will end the growing crime epidemic in America, dismantle the migrant criminal gangs, and stop the evil scourge of human and drug trafficking across the border. Kash will work under our great Attorney General, Pam Bondi, to bring back fidelity, bravery, and integrity to the FBI. Now, why do the Democrats hate this guy so much? It's crazy why they hate this guy so much. But that'd probably give you a little idea right there, is because, you know, he's going to go after certain things that they don't like, right? So I'm going to play you a video here. This was released the other day as well, when they found out about Trump making him the FBI director, appointing him.
To call it a shakeup could be the understatement of the year. The FBI preparing for an earthquake of change should Donald Trump's choice to lead the agency be confirmed for the job.
I'd shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one and reopening the next day as a museum of the deep state. And I'd take the 7,000 employees that work in that building and send them across America to chase down criminals.
Kash Patel is known as a Trump loyalist, who Trump insists is a, quote, America First fighter who played a pivotal role in uncovering the Russia hoax. Some senators who will be needed to confirm him already voicing support.
He was a prosecutor, he was a public defender, he was a senior intelligence staffer on Capitol Hill, he was a senior intelligence staffer in the White House.
But current FBI Director Christopher Wray, who Trump himself nominated in 2017 after firing James Comey, still has 3 years left in his 10-year term, and he'd have to resign or be fired.
Now, there's a whole lot of work underway and still a lot of work to do.
The FBI is part of the larger Department of Justice, which Trump has chosen former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi to lead. Trump's former Attorney General, William Barr, writing in his memoir, Mr. Patel would become FBI Deputy Director only, quote, over my dead body.
Those are heavy words.
The choice shows Trump plans to use the DOJ and the FBI as an instrument of presidential power instead of the independent law enforcement agency it's intended as.
Kash Patel's only qualification is because he agrees with Donald Trump that the Department of Justice should serve to punish, lock up, and intimidate Donald Trump's political opponents.
It's almost laughable, right, when you think of it, because Chris Murphy there from Connecticut saying that the only reason is to lock up Trump's, or to lock up Biden's opponents, unlike the Democrats did with Trump's people in his inner circle, like these people here. Here's just some of them. His allies. These people were sentenced to prison. I'm just throwing up a picture here on YouTube, so if you can't see it and you're listening to the podcast. Steve Bannon, Peter Navarro, Michael Cohen, Paul Manafort, George Papadopoulos, Roger Stone, Rick Gates, and Ellen Weiselberg. These people were all sentenced, and these people were in Trump's inner circle because of certain things, like they wouldn't, they got subpoenaed, a couple of them got subpoenaed to the January 6th committee, which was a bit of a joke because it was ran by a bunch of Democrats that were headhunting. Anyway, so there you go. So for these Democrats, like that Murphy there from Connecticut saying that he's going to use the FBI to go after his political opponents is literally laughable. Literally laughable. Let me know in your comments below what you think about that one. And not only that, when Trump was in power, and actually when he wasn't in power, I'm sorry, the people that went after him, the Democrats that went after him for so many different things, and here are just some of them. How about Russia investigations, 2017, 2019? I mean, it's like they went after him with a vengeance. His first impeachment was in 2019. The defamation lawsuits, electoral interference investigations, second impeachment, New York City criminal investigations, classified documents probe, January 6th investigation. He had attempts on his life numerous times, not just the last two times when he was running for presidency there, and he got shot at in Butler. And there was also on his golf course when the guy was in the bushes. There was also a time in 2016 There was a time in 2016 again, Michael Sanford incident, Trump rally in Vegas. A British man named Michael Sanford attempted to grab a police officer's gun. There was mail bomb threats, plots. Just the list goes on and on and on. Kind of say to yourself, why do they not want this guy in power? Why do they not want him in power? And now he's putting people in positions that are going to uncover a lot of bullshit and a lot of nonsense. So once again, here's Kash Patel. This is one of the people talking about him.
His intentions for the FBI, Kash Patel told us what he wants to do on day one. Let's listen.
I'd shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one and reopening the next day as a museum of the deep state. And I'd take the 7,000 employees that work in that building and send them across America to chase down criminals. Go be cops.
We're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections. We're going to come after you. Whether it's criminally or civilly, we'll figure that out. But yeah, we're putting you all on notice.
This job requires
putting them all on notice. That's why they're scared shitless. These people are scared to death of this guy, because if he's the head of the FBI, he has the whole FBI at his disposal to do whatever he wants and find out whatever he wants. This is what happens when people that are corrupt, corruption at its just core, and they're scared shitless. All right, moving on now. We're going to move on now to what just happened the other day again. Of course, the Hunter Biden pardon by his daddy, and the charges in this case came about only after several of my political opponents in Congress instigated them to attack me and oppose my election. Like they haven't been attacking Trump for like the last 4 years. And the thing that makes this so laughable too, with Biden pardoning Hunter, is that he kept saying that he wouldn't do it. But there's the actual pardon. There's the actual official pardon right there. In a nutshell, he's going back to January 1st, 2014 through December 1st, 2024. So why that date? Why January 1st, 2014? That's 11 years. He's literally exonerated his son from all wrongdoings, all legalities, all criminal acts for 11 years. Just waves the magic brush and wipes it clean. You know, a lot of people go, oh, well, you know, if it was my son, you'd do the same thing, right? Well, yeah, maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't. I don't know. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. But what I'm thinking is a person that says that he wasn't going to and kept saying it over and over and over again that he wasn't going to, that he'd just let the system play out because he trusts the system. Well, Hunter was he was charged, and 12 of his jury peers, Americans peers, found him guilty. So what's Biden got to say about that? Well, I guess nothing, because he pardoned him. But here's a tweet from Joe Biden. Says, no one is above the law. And there we go. Statement from President Joe Biden today. I signed a pardon for my son, Hunter. So I guess if that's the case, I guess Trump can go ahead and he can sign off on the January 6 people maybe. And let them go. Maybe he can pardon all those people. But, you know, say to yourself, why would he pardon his son? Why would he pardon Hunter at this time? Especially January of 2014, because some people are thinking it's because that's when he worked for Burisma. Hunter worked for Burisma on the Burisma board. It's a place in Ukraine, and a lot of shenanigans went on. And, of course, Trump's first impeachment was because he was talking to Zelensky on the phone, and he asked him about the Bidens, about corruption. And, of course, what'd they do? Well, they turned on him. The Democrats turned on Trump when he was president, and that was his first impeachment, was because of a phone call. And he made that phone call and asked Zelensky about the Bidens and about money being exchanged, because it's laundered money, it's dirty money. And, of course, all these criminal activities that came through James Comey, who was the acting on one of the House committees, going after the Bidens. And they found out $25 million exchanging hands, going into different bank accounts, blah, blah, blah. And now that's all just gone in a wave of a hand, just whoosh, gone, just like that. So anyway, January 1st, 2014, why do you think that they went back that far? Why? That'd be why. That's my opinion, right? You have yours. Drop them in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Okay, So I'm going to play you one more video. This is, of course, of this whole shenanigans with the pardon. And this is what Casey Hunt from CNN has to say. Should be interesting.
Biden Justice Department has been politicized. That's this message, the message this morning from not just Donald Trump, but from President Joe Biden himself. The president issuing a full and unconditional pardon to his son Hunter after repeatedly insisting in public that he wouldn't do it. And to defend his decision, the president adopted an argument that could have come straight out of Donald Trump's playbook. Blame your political opponents and claim unfair persecution. President Biden said this, quote, "The charges in his cases came about only after several of my political opponents in Congress instigated them to attack me and oppose my election." The president adding, quote, "No reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's cases can reach any other conclusion than Hunter was singled out only because he is my son. And that is wrong." End quote. President Biden pardoning his son not just for the gun crimes for which he was convicted and not just for the tax crimes for which he pled guilty. Instead, Biden gave his son an extraordinarily sweeping pardon for any and all crimes he committed, may have committed, or even merely been involved in at any point in the last 10 years. That broad language, unlike any in recent history and reminiscent only of President Gerald Ford's pardon of Richard Nixon for, quote, all offenses against the United States, end quote, that the former president had or may have committed during his entire presidency. Trying to explain his decision to Americans, President Biden made a personal appeal. He said this, quote, "I hope Americans will understand why a father and a president would come to this decision," he said last night. Understand? Americans might, though they'll have to be forgiven for thinking that all of this was off the table.
Is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
Well, is there,
I just said no. I just answered.
When would the president pardon or commute his son if he's convicted?
So I've answered this question before. It was asked of me not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I was very clear, and I said no.
You said before that the president would not pardon his son. Is that still the case?
Nothing has changed. That is still the case.
And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes. I said I abide by the jury decision. I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
I could speak for the president, and he said he would not pardon his son.
Does the president have any intention of pardoning him?
We've been asked that question multiple times. Our answer stands, which is no.
Well, it stood until last night.
It stood until the other night. That's a fact. That is a fact. So I'm sure that a lot of people in America are pissed off. And let me know in the comments what you think. I know what I think. And I know what I've thought for a long time. I've covered a lot of different podcasts in regards to Joe Biden and his family. And, Trump he nailed it. He was right on the money. He nailed this years ago. And people thought he was crazy and he was all this and that and the other thing. But when he asked a simple question to Zelensky, the head of the Ukraine at the time when Trump was president, and made that phone call and asked about the Biden's corruption and the money. The next thing you know, Trump's being impeached, and they're the ones that are the criminals. It's crazy, isn't it? Right? When you think of it. Anyway, listen, that's today's podcast. Short and sweet. Had to do a little podcast, like I said, about Kash Patel being the FBI director, and of course, Biden pardoning Hunter. I'd like to thank everyone for subscribing and liking my channel and watching my channel. Please share it, like it. It helps with the algorithm with YouTube. YouTube's pretty strict. I think they've shadow banned all kinds of channels in Canada or in the States of people that go against the grain. I got a strike against my channel almost the first couple of podcasts I did a couple years ago. One strike because I said something that turned out to be actually, in fact, true today. But then it was like, wasn't the narrative, wasn't part of the narrative. Anyway, it is what it is. I like to finish off my podcast with saying, like I always do, that everyone in this world goes through something. Everyone goes through hardships. Everyone's going through tough times. But you got to do one thing. Keep moving forward. Don't go back. There's nothing for you back there. You got to keep moving forward. You'll be better off for it. All right. And with that being said, until next podcast, everyone, have yourself a great day. And until next time, cheers.